Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. We got stuff to talk about. After these, I'm going to put a little intro, and unbelievable. A lot of news today to go over. I'm shook. I don't even know what to say. Wow. Wow. I'm at work. I was with the patient. I get my phone. I was about to go on lunch break, and I was like, holy crap. I didn't even see the notification till late. Like, I got to the news. I saw it late, but I was like in shock. Sam Darnold has been named QB2 according to Rap Sheet and Tom Pelissero. Yesterday, Kyle Shanahan said he was going to wait till before the Pittsburgh game. Today, we get some breaking news. Sam Darnold is now quarterback 2. And then according to Rap Sheet and then Mayoko and a couple other people, they've confirmed there's a source that says, yes, they're going to trade him or they're going to consider their options. He's on the trading block. And Trey Lance was not at practice today. He's not at practice. This is their final practice of the training camp, preseason, before their final preseason game. Trey Lance isn't there, considering all options, and looks like they're going to trade him. They traded up a lot of draft picks to get him, a couple first-round picks, we all know, and just hasn't had a chance to get his footing down. Unfortunate injuries. Maybe he's not the right quarterback for the system, according to Kyle Shanahan. I don't know. But it's surprising to me. Sam Darnold is going to be backup quarterback. He's a veteran. You got Brock Purdy QB1, and the veteran backup is Sam Darnold. So if there's an emergency this season, if Brock Purdy can't play, if he gets hurt, Sam Darnold is your backup quarterback. He's the guy. I don't know. I'm shook. I feel bad for Trey Lance. I feel very bad for Trey Lance and his development. I hope that he shines wherever the hell he goes. It's just not going to be with the Niners. I said this the other day. I said, if I'm Trey, I asked for a trade, and maybe that's what happened. Maybe he asked for a trade. I don't know. We'll get to figure out more as things go on. But this is a big development. This is huge. Unbelievable. I don't know. I don't even know where to start. Big Time says, what kind of incompetence do you have in the front office to F this up? Noah says, just trade him, let him shine somewhere else. I mean, for his sake, it's probably good to get traded somewhere and go out there and prove Kyle wrong. Prove this team wrong that, hey, man, I just deserved a chance to play. I just deserved a chance. Man, crazy. Russell Garcia says, I feel bad for Trey as well. This is the business side of the NFL. Calling for Kyle to be fired is plain stupid. I mean, maybe he's admitting his mistake that Trey wasn't his guy. He didn't fit the system. I get that, but it's unfortunate for Trey Lance. God's Army says, is he really on the trade block? According to all the reports, they're considering all options. All options are on the table. That's trade, cut, whatever options are to do to a player, they're on the table. According to Rap Sheet, Mayoko, Matt Barrows, all the big-time Niner reporters are saying that they're considering all options. This is crazy. Mike Silver wrote an article a couple weeks ago. People crapped on him, and he said that Brandon Allen's going to be QB3. Sam Darnold's QB2. A lot of the insiders were pushing for Sam Darnold, and now we get this news today. So maybe there was an agenda. Maybe there was some inside information that maybe nobody wanted to believe, but it is appearing very much so that Kyle Shanahan and Sam Darnold are on the same page. And if you listen to all the press conferences over the past couple of weeks, Sam Darnold was like his guy. He was gassing him up. He had high hopes. He says, he's kind of like Steve Young. He just needs a second chance. And I think Kyle, he wants to be the guy that fixes him. If Sam Darnold has to come in and be the savior and he takes this team far, Kyle's going to stroke his ego and say, I was right. I saved this man's career. So I could see that side of it. At the same time, Trey he just didn't get a chance. To me, a fair shake of it. That's my thoughts. I don't think Trey got a fair chance. It's unfortunate for the young man, but he does deserve a chance to go in the NFL somewhere and prove himself. He's only 23 years old. So for Trey Lance, it's not the end of the world. He's still very young. He has a bright future ahead of him. And I think that he can go out to some team and just prove his worth, man. But it sucks because he needs time. He needs to develop. I don't think he's going to get that with the 49ers. They got to win now Super Bowl, right? Alberto says, do you think it's because of the money they have to pay him could be used for Bosa? I mean, I don't think so. If you look at the quarterback room, it's pretty cheap. You got 3 quarterbacks for $15 million. Um, I don't think that's the thing. I don't think that's it. I really don't think that the money has anything to do with it. I honestly think that Kyle knows it's not the system for Trey. He's tried, and I don't think Kyle thinks he's going to be the guy to make his system tick and lead this offense. And maybe it's Kyle saying, I was wrong. Let's at least get something while we can now, because he didn't get what he could for Jimmy a couple years back when he had the opportunity to trade him. And, I think at this point, I think Kyle's like, I got to get at least something, because if you wait too long, you're not going to get anything. So I think that's where Kyle's heads at. Jimmy, thankfully, we're able to get a 3rd-round pick on a comp pick, but you're not going to get that from a Trey Lance. You're not even going to get that 3rd-round comp pick. So I think that's where Kyle's at. He says, you know what, let's scrap our loss and at least get something back, man. But now they could trade. Now they can trade. What if they trade for Chase Young? What if they trade for a big-time offensive lineman? Like, it's not the end of the world, as we may think it is. It sucks for Trey. I do wish that he would be on this team and he could be our backup quarterback. But, man, it's tough. It's tough for Trey. I feel bad for this young man because he didn't do anything wrong. He didn't ask for any of this. And now mentally, man, this just sets Trey Lance up for a tough mental break. Pablo says Kyle is toxic with the QB position. It's tough, man. We wouldn't even be able to keep Young unless we let Ayuk go. It's tough because we got so many players that we have to pay in the future. Like after Bosa, Brandon Ayuk next year, right? They killed all of Trey's stock. They're not getting anything good for him big time. Yeah, I don't know what you're going to get back for Trey Lance at this point, but I think it's better now than if you would have waited, because I don't think Kyle would have played him this year. I really don't, after seeing all this go down. So it's tough, man. Kyle has no clue what he's doing, says Ryan. Jimmy says this will be the turning point for Kyle's career if it doesn't work out. Yeah, this is a monumental move for Kyle. He's rolling the dice on Brock Purdy, and I love Brock, and I hope he can stay healthy and do this, do what he did last year. He's putting all his chips in on Brock Purdy. He's 100% putting his chips in on Brock Purdy, and he's praying to God that Sam Darnold could be different. He's going to pray to God that Sam Darnold's going to be different than what he was in the past. Like, this is Sam Darnold we're talking about. We've seen him. We know what Sam Darnold is. He is Sam Darnold. Kyle thinks he can fix him. Kyle thinks he could turn him into the next Steve Young. We'll see. If Kyle turns Sam Darnold into fucking Steve Young, I will eat crow, and I'll be his biggest fan. I'll be his biggest fan. But right now, this was a bold move. Bold move, Cotton. Again, I love Brock Purdy, man, and I think he's going to be great. But the insurance part of it, remember the 49ers needed insurance. I don't know if Sam Darnold's good enough insurance. That's just my thought. Whew. Crazy. Z says he's clearing the QB roster for Cousins. Yeah, for sure. He might. He loves Kirk Cousins, right? Z says if Trey was so good, this wouldn't be happening. Well, obviously, he's not what Kyle thought he was going to be. And I think that's unfortunate for Trey. But, he had injuries, and I don't think he really got a good good grasp of everything because of the injuries. It stunted his growth. But it's tough because he's given a lot of people a lot of chances over the years, and Kyle he's not giving Trey these chances that I feel like he needs to. I think Trey Lance is in the doghouse. I think he's in in the doghouse of Kyle Shanahan. That's a tough spot to get out of. Niner sickness says great people make bold moves. Definitely a bold move. And if this pans out, Beto, you're absolutely right. If this pans out and the Niners go all the way, or the Super Bowl run, or whatever the case is, Kyle's going to look like a genius. So, hey, right now, this is tough news. It's tough to swallow. It looks like it's not the right thing. But if it pans out, we're going to eat crow, right? So it's tough, man. This definitely is a bold move. C-Max is, what the F just happened, bro? Sam Darnold named QB2. Trey Lance, they're going to consider all options. He's not at practice. It's crazy. It is crazy, man. They're win now. I get it, RF. The Niners are win now, and Trey can't win now. I get all that, but, I mean, man, this was a big investment that you had on your team. This was a big investment. You traded up a lot to get him. There was a lot of players that you could have had. Micah Parsons, Patrick Surtain, and on and on. The list goes on and on. Like, you could have went and got some star players but you went with the quarterback. And then ultimately, you chose Jimmy Garoppolo over Trey Lance. And it's a guy that got chance after chance after chance. And again, I feel like Trey Lance hasn't been given enough chances, man. It's tough. C-Max is what an awful outcome for an investment. It's very bad outcome for an investment. But I guess he wants to cut his losses before they get even bigger, is the vibe I'm feeling from Kyle. It's tough, man. Russell says you can't fire a coach who's been to 3 NFC Championship games in the Super Bowl. I mean, yeah, 100%. He turned this team around, but are all his decisions the best? Not all of them, but this is a bold move, man. Again, if this works out, man, shout out to Kyle. Uh, again, I think he's cutting his losses, but man, you got to feel bad for Trey. Unbelievable, man. I mean, he's had the chance this preseason to kill it. I mean, I feel like even still in the preseason, he played in the fourth quarter. You know, he didn't get enough reps, I think, but when he came out, he played strong to finish that game. I feel like maybe we should have saw the sign coming during that second preseason game because Sam Darnold was out there for a long time. And Kyle said he wanted a good look at Sam. I think he was just trying to see if Sam Darnold could really hold this offense and run it. And I think he showed Kyle enough during that second preseason game because Trey Lance didn't even come in till almost the end of that third quarter. I mean, it was like looking like he wasn't even going to play. He was warming up. Everybody thought, okay, here comes Trey. Second half, he was warming up the band. He was ready to strike it, and then boom, he didn't play. And it was like, whoa, what's going on? So maybe the writing was on the wall. There's been a lot of reports. Mike Silver has been on the forefront of this. Mayoko, Greg Papa. And we hated on it, right? Because we love Trey Lance. We want to see him shine and get his chance. But it's not the case. But I think also at the end of the day, I think Kyle is going to give Trey his chance somewhere else, though. And I think maybe my opinion, my take is I think Trey Lance might have come up to Kyle and say, hey, man, if I'm not going to be QB2, let me shine somewhere. Give me the chance. Or maybe he says, I don't want to be QB2. Give me a chance somewhere. Maybe it's Trey. Maybe it's not Kyle. We don't know all the details. This is all just still kind of new, fresh news right now. But I think maybe Trey said, hey, look, dude, give me an opportunity to go prove myself somewhere. And if that's the case, respect to Trey, man, because he needs his chance somewhere. You know, he needs his chance somewhere. He's not going to get it with the 49ers. Let's be honest with ourselves. Trey Lance is not going to get a chance to prove himself with the 49ers right now. You know, he needs reps. He needs time to develop. And I don't think he's going to get that with the 49ers. Joseph says, poor kid, I hope he bounces back and doesn't end up like Josh Johnson for the next year in the future. Oh, man. It's a crazy day, a crazy circumstances. I don't know how you guys feel, but it does seem like the comments in here are pretty upsetting. You know, I think fans are pretty upset because the 49ers did go all in. They did trade up, a lot of assets to go get this guy. He was a huge investment, and it basically is telling me that you're giving up on the guy. You just gave up on the guy, and it sucks to see that. As a Niner fan, it's like, man, you put in all your chips to get this guy to be your franchise, and you're saying, yeah, it didn't work out. We give up on the guy. It's not going to work. It sucks. And it again, if I was Trey Lance, I'd be mentally crushed, man. But I just, now we have to hope and pray that Sam Darnold can hold it down if Brock Purdy goes down. Lejo says 5 deserves better. This is worse than our terrible economy. He should have gave the keys to Trey at the start. Kyle never had confidence. That's why he kept Jimmy around. This right here is the comment that I always go back to. So I remember that first year and thinking, hey, Trey Lance is the quarterback he drafted. He's raw. He's a developmental quarterback. Throw him in there. Give him the keys. Get rid of Jimmy. And people hated that take. People did not like that take. And I remember I got ran out. I was like getting hated on for that. I said, look, give Trey the keys. He needs the time. He needs the reps. And he didn't. I think at that point, you should have just gave him the keys to the car. Just like, Bill Belichick did it with Mac Jones. It was not the most popular opinion. He got rid of Cam Newton, the veteran, and he kept Mac, and he let him get his reps. He's going to take his licks. He's going to sometimes fail, but you have to be okay with that. If you take a quarterback that's young, you have to be okay with him, failing before he succeeds. I agree with that. I think they should have gave him the keys from the jump. Kyle, I agree with you, didn't have confidence in Trey. And I think that's what really stunted it. Is Kyle didn't feel confident with the guy, and maybe Kyle wasn't the guy that wanted to draft Trey Lance. We all know it's very well documented. it was Mac Jones and Trey Lance. Those were the two guys that he was deciding on. I think Kyle Shanahan wanted Mac. I think John Lynch wanted Trey Lance. I think they settled on Trey Lance. I think it was a settle. I think sometimes when you're dating someone and it's not the person you really want, but you're gonna go with them because you're like, I might as well just settle down, and it doesn't work out later in the end because you just settled. That's what they did. They settled on the person they didn't want. They went with the guy that was they kind of liked, but it wasn't the guy that they absolutely wanted. Because I don't think you take Mac at 3. When you trade it up, you got to make a bold move, I think, in Kyle's eyes. And I really feel, but deep down inside, I don't think Trey Lance was ever Kyle's guy. I really don't, man. Oh, that Squan says, remember on draft day, Kyle said he was their guy, but in the third year, he couldn't run with the starters, not one time. It's crazy, man, how the switch up happened. I really feel, honestly, Kyle just didn't trust Trey. He was so young, and I don't think he wanted to give this young man that burden of rolling with this team, And again, maybe it was Kyle not evaluating the position right, or maybe it was John Lynch making that pick. But I don't know. Whatever happened in between the time they drafted him and now definitely changed the course of everything. And then again, shout out to Brock Purdy, man. You got to give that man a lot of respect, a lot of props. Brock Purdy came out and he won that spot. You can't take anything away from Brock. I love Brock, man. I mean, this guy came out third quarterback. We were down for the count, and he came in and he went on a magic run. So it's not even on Brock, but the fact that Sam Darnold is your QB2 over the guy that you put in a a heavy investment on is crazy to me. That's what's wild. You went out there, you got Sam Darnold this offseason, and now he's your QB2. He's been on the team for 6 months, man. Maybe he picked up the offense quick, and Kyle liked that, but that is wild for Trey Lance to lose his spot to Sam Darnold. Wow. Absolutely crazy, man. This is the reverse opposite of what Kyle said in his press conference yesterday, says Jimmy. It is. Did you hear everything he said yesterday? He says, I'm not going to make a choice now. I'm going to wait till week 1. But if you also listen to it, he kind of did say a lot of good things about Sam Darnold. He says how he's picked up the offense a lot and how he's really improved and he's impressed them with being able to, navigate the offense and how he has a nice arm and, he just needs a new scenery. He said all that, and with Trey, he says, yeah, he came in healthy. It was just general statements of, yeah, he was healthy. He's worked hard and that's it. He says he's worked hard. He's coming in healthy and he's putting his best foot forward. He didn't really talk about how he's worked with Jeff Christensen and Patrick Mahomes. He hasn't really said anything. He doesn't even say much like good things about Trey. It's just general statements. But when he talks about Sam Darnold, it's like he's glazing him. That's the way I feel. I feel like he really, really, really fucking loves Sam Darnold. And Kyle loves mid quarterbacks, right? He loves mid quarterback play. And I think that's what it is he likes these yes men, these guys that can be a game manager and operate what Kyle tells him to do. Kyle's going to tell you how to run the offense. And if Sam Darnold's okay with getting the ball to those playmakers, Kyle's okay with it. He doesn't do anything special. But again, 49ers offense is the Yak brothers, is Sam, Deebo Samuel, it's Brandon Ayuk, it's George Kittle, it's Christian McCaffrey. It's get them the ball, let them operate. I don't need you to go and take these chances. I don't need you to throw 100, yards down the field. I need you to be safe. And Sam Darnold for Kyle Shanahan is safe. Kyle Shanahan, I don't think he thinks Trey Lance safe. It's because he's still young. He's, inconsistent to him. And sometimes he's not going to make the right choice that Kyle wants him to make. So, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. I'll be live a little later. I had to hop on. It's busy. I mean, I wouldn't be anybody if I didn't hop on here. Got to get back to work. But, man, what a crazy day in the day of 49er news. It's never a dull moment with the 49ers and quarterbacks. I don't know. You guys leave some thoughts in the comments. I got to get back to work. I'm going to hop on IG for 5 minutes before I get back to work, and we'll chop it up there. But, yeah, we'll be live later. Larry Kruger and myself, we'll be live tonight, finally, because we couldn't get a show on Monday. But appreciate you guys, man. This is a crazy day. Stay tuned. I got my phone on me. I didn't have it earlier, so I appreciate for being a little late. But we'll be there. We'll be trying to get all the information as we can. We're still waiting for Nick Bosa to sign, and now we have quarterback drama. Can you wrap your head around that? The 49ers still haven't signed Nick Bosa, and now you got quarterback drama. This is crazy. You guys have a blessed day. I love you. Bang, bang. Not again.